Live again at the same point as it is
March 5th, 2026. I'm hearing that echo already. All right, there we go. Technical difficulties right out the gate. All right. God, dog, Yish. What up, Yish, man? You on stage? What's up?
Oh, yeah,
What
I
up?
only got like 30 minutes, but I do want to talk about the Trinity real quick.
All right.
So yeah, I have like a clarifying question for you. Do you believe the Trinity, like that the Jews were always Trinitarians? Did they always have the concept of the Trinity? Or do you believe it was like revealed over time?
I believe that the Trinity always existed in the text. I don't think the Jews fully understood it, but they read their text and they saw that there was more than a single power in heaven. That's where they came up with the two powers in heaven belief.
Okay, so in John chapter 4, verse 22, Jesus says, we Jews know what we worship, right? So were the Jews Trinitarians based off that passage?
What is it again?
John 4:22.
Were they Trinitarians based off this passage? This passage doesn't give me enough information to know. So
Yeah.
it doesn't refute what I just said about the two powers of belief, which was a prevalent belief in the Jews' society until like around the second century.
I mean, even if I grant you that they believe in two powers, which I don't believe in that, but that's still missing a person.
Why don't you believe that? Have you ever heard of the two powers in heaven belief?
I mean, I know some people that believe in like the binitarian two powers in heaven belief in the Godhead, but no, hold to that.
Well, you say you don't hold to it?
No, I just believe that the Father is the only God.
Well, I'm not asking if you believe it or not. We're talking about if the Jews believe that, if the two powers in heaven belief was a real belief. Like that's just history at this point. You'd be just denying history, not a belief in the Trinity.
No, but I have first century Israelites who are Christian that believe that the Father created all things alone.
Yeah, so they were deemed heretics, sure.
No, but these are like church fathers that even modern day Christians heard quotes.
Yeah, church. If you look up, like all of the where the councils, the big councils, the big disputes that were had were mostly brought up by bishops who were in the church, who were then exiled from the church and deemed heretics. So that's not a problem.
No, this is the original. This is the first church father outside of John, Peter, and Paul, right? Clement of Rome.
Give me a name.
59, verse 4.
Who? What verse?
It's First Clement, chapter 59, verse 4. I can pull it up if you need to. And then there's also a verse where he talks about the Father creating. And he's first century, a Jew, Christian, converted to Christianity when he heard about the gospel.
Okay, and we're in here. Hold up.
It should be chapter 59, verse 4, around the last sentence. And and he calls the Father the creator of all, and in the same chapter, like the second sentence or first sentence.
Hold up, let me just share this. I don't know if you can you see? I know it might be small on TikTok, but
Yes, Lord.
hold on. Let me. Ooh, that's super small.
I can't read it, but I have it right in front of me.
Ooh, I messed this up. All right, let me. You just at least tell me if I'm in the right place.
I can't really see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to zoom in on it a little more. You said 59, right?
Yeah, chapter 59. Like the first sentence, he calls the Father, the God that's identified as the Father, the creator of all things. And then in the last sentence, same chapter, he calls the Father the only God.
How disobey we should sin and sin prayer shall the creator shall desire that the creator of all preserve unbroken computed number of his elect to the world through his beloved Son Jesus Christ, right? Mark.
Yeah, the creator of all, and then it says that the creator of all has a son through his beloved Son.
Yep. So the creator of all through his beloved Son Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, so the creator of all is referring to the Father, because then it says through his beloved Son.
What does that?
His Son would be Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So how does that disprove the Trinity?
Because he calls the Father the creator of all. And in Isaiah chapter 44, verse 24, he says, Yahweh says, I alone created the heavens and the earth. I stretched out my hand, I stretched out the heavens. I did it by myself.
Yeah, so that you're in Isaiah 44:20?
Yeah, Isaiah 44:24.
Yeah, 44:24. Yeah. So again, that doesn't pose a problem for the Trinity. That actually poses a problem for what? Before I presuppose something. What is your belief exactly?
When it comes to ontology, I believe in like Unitarianism.
Okay, so that doesn't create a problem for the Trinity. That creates a problem for you. So what we believe is that there is one God, right? There's one God who identified himself in three persons. So even though I hold to that that's Jesus speaking in Isaiah 44:24, it doesn't pose a problem that even the Father is the creator of all things, because the Father is also God. But what we see on the screen here, it doesn't say Father, by the way. It just says, shall desire that the creator of all preserve unbroken and computed number of his elect in the whole world through his beloved Son, Jesus Christ. So just
the creator, my fault, right?
Yeah, so I could I guess eisegete that it's Father there, but it could just be God, which still neither one poses a problem for the Trinity.
But the creator of all has a son, though. That's the thing. He calls the creator of all, he says, by his Son. And you can even see.
Yeah, so Jesus is the Son of the Father. Yeah, so what's the problem with that?
Yeah, because he's the son of the one who created everything, so he couldn't create everything.
So
you can also find that in the Bible too, Acts chapter 4.
Let's go back to this and try to zoom out of this now, since I have to zoom in so much. All right. So I'm not going to do that. Maybe that'll make it harder to see. So if we go here to John 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God, right? We understand that the Word is the Logos here, right? Mm-hmm. All things came into being through him, and apart from him, not even one thing came into being that has come into being. So This establishes that the Logos is God, he was with God, and he's the creator of all things. So when you go back to Isaiah 44:24, where it's saying that I alone created all things, and we know that that is Yahweh speaking, that poses a problem for you, not the Trinitarian belief.
Well, no, because I don't believe the word is person. Like in Genesis 1, I believe that was a father like speaking actual words, and it actually says that in Psalms 33:6.
You don't believe the word, you don't believe the Logos is a person?
No, I believe it's John 1 is talking about God's personified word.
So his personified word, wouldn't that mean he's a person?
No, it was being like personified. It was given like some translations will read it as it. Like if you go to Greek, you can read it as it, he, she, right? But they decided to go with he because it's getting like personified throughout like verses 1 through 13.
Well, if you just go to 14, it then says, and the word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we saw his glory. The glory is the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. Right? So, I mean, not a person. How did he dwell among us?
Yeah, I believe that the word became flesh in the body of Christ when he got baptized. Because you do see in verse 15, in verse 6, it introduces John.
So is this word personified to you divine?
Yeah, you can say it's God's divine word.
Okay, but you believe it's created?
No, I don't believe it's created.
So is it the same as the Father or distinct from the Father?
Like it has like I wouldn't say like it's distinct. Like the Father's word isn't distinct from him because he possesses his word.
Well, you got a problem. Either the word, you just said it's uncreated. Either it is the Father or you have two uncreated beings.
No, I don't believe it's a person. I don't believe that the word is.
Well, even stepping aside from the person, you still it would still be an uncreated energy, essence, whatever you want to call it, that is distinct from the Father.
No, I don't believe it's distinct.
So you believe it's the Father?
No, I believe it's the Father's word. That's how your voice isn't distinct from you. It comes from you. Like the voice that you used to speak, but the voice that the Father used to speak, create all things. You create all things by speaking. And then it actually says that in Psalm 33:6.
Yeah, but this word became flesh and walked around. So you just think it was a spirit in the body of Jesus. Jesus was a normal human being with the spirit in him?
I wouldn't say normal human being, but he was an exalted human being who was granted the spirit. In John chapter 1 when he gets baptized.
So why, if he already had this spirit of the Lord on him, then why did the Holy Spirit need to descend on him?
No, I don't believe he had the spirit before he got baptized. And then when he gets baptized, that's like a fulfillment of Isaiah chapter 11, where he's granted the spirit of wisdom, granted the spirit of understanding, power, and there's some other things I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, so all right, let's go back to this. I didn't put a chapter. Let's just go back to this. The word It's not a person. All right. So when you read 1 John 1, what was from the beginning, what we have heard, what we have seen with our eyes, what we have looked at and touched with our hands concerning the word of life. And the life was revealed, and we have seen and testified and proclaimed to you the eternal life, which was the Father and was revealed to us. Right? So you don't think that this word of life, right, as John prescribed, is something that they saw, heard, and touched with their hands?
Yeah, I believe like when he says from the beginning, that's talking about the beginning of the gospel being preached. Because in other gospels, you have the beginning in reference to his ministry in Mark.
Where do you get the context that it's from the beginning of the gospel?
Yeah, it's talking about Christ.
Well, this is still John talking, and he's still talking. Well, he's alluding to his own epilogue in John 1, which alludes to Genesis 1, the creation. But if you go to, we're gonna go right, huh?
Like verse 5.
Where? In here?
Yeah, 1 John.
Okay. What about this one?
Yeah, it says, this is a message which we have heard from him to proclaim to you. And he doesn't start preaching the message until he gets baptized. That's when he starts his ministry. That's when he goes around healing the people.
Yeah, but that's in regards to the message. But this says what was from the beginning. That what was from the beginning, that what that is talking about is the word of life. It's not talking about the message right there.
The message and the word of life can be synonymous.
Where do you get that in the context?
Yeah, it's talking about the message that he preached. And we see from the beginning salvation being promised. So
we can harp on this beginning stuff. Let's nip that in the bud to show like what he meant from the beginning. All right, and to do that, I'm gonna take you to the Greek. You don't have a problem with going to the Greek for. I think I've sat into some channels and heard you speak before. I don't think you have an issue going to the Greek, right?
Nah, yeah, I don't have a problem with the Greek.
All right, let's do it then. Let me shrink this screen some because I can't see. I'm gonna try to pull it up where you can see. What up, Raz? All right. How difficult is that to see on TikTok? Do I need to zoom in more?
Yeah.
I know you're good. I can pull it up right here.
All right. So it says, "In the beginning was the Word." We got that. All right. But one of the most important words here, so you can get what John is trying to say, is probably the most insignificant word in the sentence in English, and it's "was." Right. So the English word for "was" doesn't do the Greek justice, right? So this word, this "in" here, right? It means to be, to exist, to happen, to be present. So it means that this is eternally happening in the past, right? So this isn't in the context of the beginning of the gospel. This is going back to say, as far as you can go back, the Logos is there. That is what John means by the beginning.
No, yeah, in John 1, yeah, I agree that that's talking about creation.
Yeah, and it's the same what.
That's talking about the gospel.
Yeah, and it's that same what that he's talking about in 1 John 1, because he's talking about the word of life. So he's talking about the Logos again there. And so when he's saying what was from the beginning, it's the exact same context.
my fault on me. But Christ said, "The words that I speak are what He said, like truth and life." So that is talking about the gospel being preached.
About the gospel being what?
The gospel being preached because there was promised salvation from the beginning. Just Adam fell.
It was. But again, the context of what I just showed you on the screen is not that context when he's saying the beginning. What John is saying, because it's the same author when he's talking about the word in First John 1, it's the same as he's talking about in John 1. Same word, same author, same context. He's saying that it happens eternally in the past, which means that the Logos has always existed eternally in the past, right? Which just means forever. He's always existed, has no beginning.
Got one in the queue on YouTube.
Got it. So that's the context there. Like to try to pull a different context out of is to refuse everything that John is trying to portray in his epilogue. He goes out of his way to make sure that when he's talking about the Logos, that you know that he means for eternity. Man, I just don't understand what TikTok be talking about. What do they consider active, man?
The dance.
Yes, you still there or you gone? Or did he drop out?
It's not up.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah, I think.
All right. I guess that's that.